What is up, everybody? Zach from Redwood Chronicles. Christine's new KitchenAid mixer just came in. It's white. She wants it to be a different color, so we're going to sand it down and paint it. Alright guys, just to go over what you're going to need to do this, you're going to want some type of primer. I'm using self-etching because the acid should allow it to bond with the paint that's on there still a little bit better than whatever paint you're going to go ahead and use. We're actually using two paints. Going to try and blend these two colors to get the exact color Christine wants. And then we're going to do a matte clear on top. You could do gloss however you want to finish it. That's how the paint's gonna go. Then a set of snap ring pliers, some type of punch, because you have to punch a couple things out, flathead screwdriver, sorry, Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, another little screwdriver to pry with, some type of T25 Torx bit, 11mm socket, and then a little hammer to punch stuff with. I am using a gas mask because I'm actually painting in our makeshift paint booth there, so you guys can kind of see the makeshift paint booth we got. Basically just a camping tent with some visqueen thrown over the top to seal the holes underneath here. It is just mesh, so just set up a little thing in here, and we've painted a boat trailer in here, we've painted my mountain bike in here, we've done all kinds of projects in here, and it actually works really well. Normally we do set up a fan for some ventilation right here, blow it out of the garage, but this ain't too big of a project, so we're not gonna worry about that. Alright guys, and then before we start taking this thing apart and painting it, we're gonna go make sure it works. Alright guys, now that we know it works, we'll go ahead and start taking it apart. So first thing we're gonna do is remove this guy and this cap, and we'll just set this off to the side for now. The next thing we're going to do is remove this band here, so we're going to get a Phillips head screwdriver and remove that. Alright, then the next thing we're going to do is remove this screw right here, so flathead. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and remove this top piece. So these four, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. Piece 1. Looks like you could probably take that out of there if you really wanted to. I'm just gonna tape it off though. It's covered up by that other piece. We'll go ahead and remove the base. And if you look in here, you can see that there's that nut. So we're gonna go ahead and take that nut off that's in the middle there. All right guys, and then that nut in there will be an 11mm. All right guys, then we're gonna go ahead and take the motor off. Admittedly, I probably should have left it on the bottom stand first, but I wasn't sure how this is all gonna come apart. Then we're going to push this little tab out. Put this off to the side. Use the snap ring pliers to get this C-clip off. The ground wire. Alright, and then next we'll take out these 3 screws on the bottom. So we're just pulling this screw out right here. Get this guy to come out, and then that guy to come out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna punch this out so we can unscrew this. Once you got that free, this will freely spin, and you can get that adjuster all the way out. Alright guys, and then what we're left with is just these 5 parts. There's nothing attached to them, so we're just going to go ahead and scuff these up and then get them ready for paint. So to scuff this up, we're just going to use some 320 grit, and really, we're not trying to remove all the enamel paint off here. Think about like just making it not shiny. All right, 320 wasn't really cutting it, so we're gonna go down to a 220 and see how that works. And the next thing we're gonna do is tape off and plug any holes that we don't really want a bunch of paint in. Like plugging the holes with use Q-tips. Cut them in half, and you can just stick them in the hole. Alright guys, and then like I said, we're just using that self-etching primer. Should allow it to kind of bite into the paint that's on there still a little bit more. I have them all flipped upside down. Gonna do a light coat all across everything that I can hit right now. I'm gonna flip it over and that's what I'm gonna wind up painting on.
Alright, then we'll let that dry for about 15-20 minutes so we can flip them over till we make sure we get all the spots.
Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and we'll let those first two coats on that first side of that primer dry. Then we'll go and flip them over so we get all the sides. Primer that down, let that dry for 30 minutes, and then we'll get to the paint. Alright guys, the primer looks pretty dry, so we're going to go ahead and flip those things over onto the back and then give them a one coat of paint. It's been a few hours, so we're going to go ahead and flip all these over now. Alright, then we'll go ahead and put a second coat on this, and then this is where we'll paint and make sure everything's good to go. And it'll sit overnight, we'll put the clear on it. So we let that paint dry overnight. It's all good and cured. We're gonna flip stuff over and then paint the same way, paint the clear coat on the same way we painted the paint on. It's been about 45 minutes, so we're gonna go in, flip that stuff over. It says it's dry to the touch in 20, but you gotta recoat within an hour. So go and flip it over and then paint the other side and then we'll be done. Alright guys, so it sat in there for a couple hours. It's pretty much dry. Not dry to put back together yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove all the Q-tips and then the tape now. So the paint's all dry, we're gonna go ahead and start putting it back together. Start off with this guy here. First thing you're gonna wanna do is take this piece that we screwed out before, and we'll put that in there first. All right, and then we'll drive that little pin back through there. Okay, then the next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and put the bowl lifter thing back together. So this is gonna come through here like that. This will go down in this orientation. Then you'll see all that will line up in there like that. And then we'll take the screw and put it back in there. Okay, then the next thing we're gonna do is attach this back to this piece. So you can see how those grooves line up like that, both sides. And you'll slide this up all the way. Make sure the bowl holders are pointed up as well. You'll need to make sure you line up. I don't even know if you'll be able to see this, but you need to make sure you line that up so you can put this gear back on. So you're gonna put the spring on first, then the washer, then the nut. And the next thing we're gonna do to make it easier to put the rest on is put the stand on here, which will be these three bigger screws. Okay guys, then we'll go ahead and put the feet back on the bottom here. Then the next thing is we'll go ahead and put this piece back on the top here. Alright guys, then once we have this part set on and the two pins all lined up, we'll go ahead and we'll take this metal piece, stick it in there, and then we'll go ahead and screw these screws in. We're just gonna put this little clip on now. All right, then we'll go ahead and we'll put the motor back on. All right guys, so once we have the motor set on there, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take this gear, the narrower part, if you can tell these two holes are narrower, those are gonna go towards the front, and then this slit is also right here as well. And then you're gonna use the Torx bits to secure this to the motor. All right, then we'll go ahead and put the rest of the Phillips screws in, secure the motor all the way down. All right, and then I'm gonna take something and this is a ground wire. So I'm gonna scrape some of this paint off of this part right here so it can be to bare metal. All right guys, then we'll go ahead and take this screw, secure it to this wire, screw that in. Then we'll go ahead and we'll put the lid back on. We'll go ahead and we'll take these longer screws that we have left, put them on here. Then we'll take the band, put the band on. And then we can go ahead and put the cap on. This screw here. And we're gonna get this washer on here. And this C-clip. So we'll take this gear here and you'll need to line this hole up with that hole right there. And you'll be pushing this pin back through. All right guys, and there you have it. That's how you tear down and paint a KitchenAid. Hope this helped you out. Cheers.